What's up, friends? Welcome to Chaos Life. Hopefully you guys are here to have a good time, hang out, not cause any trouble. I'm doing the music a little bit differently, so let's try this out. We're going to try streaming a playlist through the service that I use for like all my music that allows me to have awesome music to play in my videos without getting like copyright strikes or anything. So as usual, let me know if music seems too loud. Not loud enough. I don't know if I should probably go any louder than this, but if it seems like it's not loud enough, definitely let me know. So what's happening? We had some people that were first in the chat and they're on it. We had Commander Wolf 104th as the first one in the chat. What's up, Sketchers Kid, Xena, we got Eduardo in the chat, you got Doug the Eliminator, Joseph, just jumping through, the Punisher, Traveling Soldiers, so many. You guys are awesome. So how does the music, you're late, Hugh. I just see you jumped at the bottom to see if anybody said anything about the music. And you got Hugh in here saying he's late. I just started it. I was just doing the beginning part. Music is good. All right. Thanks, Sketchers Kid Gaming. So, if you are new, you've never done this whole experience of Chaos Live, well, is what this is I hang out with you awesome people. If you have questions, I answer them if I possibly can, if I know the answer to them. I don't know all in the Army, but I know a lot of stuff with 10 years of experience, so plus I still work around the Army. So we'll hang out, talk about stuff that you have questions about, whatever kind of stuff, you know, we have to talk about. All right? Sweet. All right. What do we have? What do you think he's going to talk about? Probably about pigs going to Mars. It's probably going to be the main focus of this live stream, I would think. I don't know, though. We'll see. What's up, Doug? Something to do with Army? Yeah, probably. I mean, maybe the pigs thing, though. I don't know. Who knows? You never know. It's been a while since I've seen one of these. Well, welcome. I do them every weekend, most likely. I think I've been pretty much every weekend been doing it, so we've been keeping up with a pretty good streak for the most part. Army's victory over Navy yesterday, or did they end up winning? I didn't watch. I'm not a big college football fan, so, but good. That's awesome. Sorry, JT Suits, but your team lost, bud. Let's see. Whatever we ask him, he can't and will talk about. He can and will talk about, most likely. not everything, Eduardo. Let's not get crazy. All right. What's up? Was it not colon? We got a couple people saying, sorry you're late. You're not late. We just started. We've only been running for, what, not even a few minutes? It's only been 4 minutes. This live stream started 4 minutes ago. Oh, what chair am I sitting in? It's called, I don't remember. That's what it's called. It's called, I don't remember. It's a, I don't know. I don't know if I know the name of this chair. Yeah, it doesn't say the name of it. So I don't know. Can't really help you. It's like a little, it was just an Amazon chair that I bought that was a racing gaming seat kind of thing. I don't know what the name of it is. Perfect timing making dinner, ravioli, well yum. The girlfriend's making like this lasagna roll-up thing, but still kind of getting over being sick, so I don't know if I'm gonna have much of an appetite to really kind of enjoy doing having anything to eat. I don't know yet. Did I watch the game? I didn't. I don't watch college football. Last night I watched the UFC fight because I'm a big MMA fan. So I watched the fight with oh God, I can't even think of the guy's name now. Oliveira and Max Holloway. I couldn't think of it. So I watched the UFC fights last night. Special effects picked up hardcore, and I love it. Oh yeah, from the last live streams probably. Yeah, I add a little more spice to it. I mean, we got the counter over there. We got the last milestone we accomplished. You got a little promo for some T-shirts with the link over there, and some social media. And then just in case you didn't know that I'm an Army veteran, I got a little banner right there, and then cool stuff at the bottom that pops up randomly at certain points in time. and then if someone subscribes to the channel that has their subscriptions public, that'll pop up on the screen that someone subscribed. And then if somebody does super chats, that pops up on the screen as well. And then the lights flash in here. So yeah, fat YBY4. I don't know how you would just pronounce that screen name. There's a lot of stuff that's probably maybe changed depending on when it was you last saw. Hey, I'm leaving for basic in January. My run is crap, but my push-ups and sit-ups are great while I get kicked out. Not as long as you don't fail. I mean, if you fail basic, so you'll probably get multiple chances to pass the PT test. If you take the PT test and you fail, you're gonna get another attempt. And you might even get a third attempt. But if you continue failing in events or failing the PT test, then yeah, they possibly could kick you out if they wanted to. So it just kind of depends, I guess, on how some of that kind of goes. No giraffes going to Mars? They could be. Maybe giraffes going to Mars. They could go there too. MEPS in a different state while I visit my parents. I'm guard if it matters. Yeah, I guess it depends on wherever your local MEPS is at, as far as which MEPS you'd possibly go to. So that kind of just depends. So what do MPs do for the reserves and active duty, and their difference in what they do when they get deployed? Are they kind of like infantry man and cop at the same time? Sort of. So active duty guys are the more busier ones, obviously. I don't know what reserves do too much, probably just because they're only doing the weekends and the 2 weeks, or the 1 weekend a month and the 2 weeks a year. So probably just mostly training during those time frames unless they get activated. And then Edward, see the cool effects that Edward make happen here. Let me finish this question. I'll get to your question, Edward, since you are awesome and did a super chat. But for the most part, yeah, like active duty would be the more busier guys doing a lot of like police work stuff on base, as well as training and gate guard and a lot of other things. And then when they're deployed, they have some different like missions they do that are kind of similar to infantry type of stuff. Not the exact same thing, but it's kind of similar, I guess you could say. So we got Edward with the $1.99 super chat. What do you think about Jay Suit's Tinder last stream? I don't think I saw that. He did something with Tinder on his last live stream? No, then I'm gonna have to go back and see if he saw that live. If that's what you're talking about. I don't think I saw that. Was it Crazy Egyptian? Thank you for subscribing if you're in the chat. That'd be interesting. I'll have to look to see if he still has a live stream on his channel. I sometimes will catch in on his live streams. A lot of times he does his live streams like right around now, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe in a few hours or whatever he might start doing his live stream, and then like some of the people that normally watch me are busy at his live stream. I don't know. Who never knows? Chaos, can you talk about security clearance? My contract requires me to get one, and I just want to learn more about it since I know you had one when you were stationed in Korea. I actually currently still have a security clearance because my job as a civilian requires me to have a security clearance. But basically, security clearances has this humongous packet you have to fill out. You're gonna have to know like where you've lived in the last 10 years, and maybe someone who's known you at that location, and a bunch of other stuff. It's like this crazy long packet and stuff that's like hella crazy to try to even remember. So expect that, and then you'll usually do an interview with someone to go and kind of look at different things that are maybe in your paperwork and kind of confirm a lot of stuff. So there's a lot to it. What if I unsubscribe then subscribe again? Well, then it's going to show in my list, if your subscriptions are public anyways, then it'll probably pop up on the screen. But then also it's going to reset the count as far as how long you've been subscribed to my channel. So like for people who display their subscriptions publicly, there's a section on YouTube that you can see who's subscribed to your channel if they have it public and how long they've been subscribed to. So if you've been subscribed for a very long time, then it's going to reset that counter. But it also depends on if your subscriptions are public. Sketcher's kid, are you a YouTube modder? He is, because he's awesome. There you go, Eminem Moist. Uh-oh, people are gonna be triggered by that name. Some people don't like that word, but thank you for subscribing to ThatChrisChaos. If you fail your PT training, R1, sorry mother effer, you know what? Yeah, but you're gonna get multiple chances. Taking off to OSIT in June 9th, or in June as a 19 Delta. Well, good luck to you. Aliens are going to eat the pigs on Mars. They might. So maybe we shouldn't send the pigs to Mars then. Maybe we'll send the giraffes instead. I feel like the giraffes will have a better fighting chance than the pigs would. What's going on? This is that combat medic. I got a question. Well then, ask the question, and hopefully I see it. If I don't see it, then I apologize. Sometimes the chat goes crazy. Especially right now, there's 43 of you in here, and if all of a sudden all 43 of you decided they had a question, I'm not gonna be able to get all 43 of you without like skipping somebody. Michael, Thanks for joining the Chaos Army. If you're here in the live chat. Is it cold in your area? Any snow yet? It's been cold. No snow though. So, I don't know. Edward again. If you've been to the last several live streams, you probably know. Edward's the man. He just starts raining down money sometimes and starts throwing down super chats like crazy. I'm probably like a crazy bad addiction for Edward for dropping these super chats. So like I said, I think I've told you before, Edward, don't go broke throwing a bunch of super chats at me. Sometimes I'll try to get your questions even regardless of them, but I do appreciate the donations because they do help me, you know, improve the channel by getting better equipment or doing things for the channel to make it better. For example, one of the things I'm going to do here pretty soon is I'm going to just grab probably 1 month. They have those subscription crates, and there's a military one, and I might get 1 month of this subscription crate just to do like an unboxing of it, maybe like as a Wednesday random video, and we'll check that out, kind of a thing. And that allows me to do that kind of thing. Can I get a special badge? What kind of special badge are you gonna get? For for being subscribed for a long time, or anything like that? So if I end up getting to 30,000, which that's the whole road, no, that way, the whole road to 30,000 subscribers, that unlocks the ability to be able to have people like join, like you see on some YouTube channels, they have that little join button underneath their channel, and that allows them to be able to join and, you know, contribute to the channel and all that stuff, then get these little special badges that that they get like next to their name in live chats and all that stuff, and then also I think when you comment too. So once I get to 30,000 or a little bit past it, then I can have that option. I'd like to do like a rank structure, so we'll see how that kind of hopefully works out. Chris, question: when you re-enlist, do you have the option to pick a new MOS, or do you have to make your stay with your current MOS? For a new MOS, would you have to go back to AIT? You have the option to re-enlist, which is called reclassing, to another MOS, so that would be a possibility if you qualify for that other MOS. So if you qualify, say you want to switch from one MOS to another one, as long as you qualify for that other MOS, you can re-enlist for that. And yes, you would have to go to AIT for whatever that MOS is, but that is a possible possibility that you can do. I just got my security clearance. As long as you don't have any past problems with the law, it should go pretty fast. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can take a little bit of time for them to do the investigation to go through, especially with your initial one, and then you have to renew it like every 10 years. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit painful, just mainly answering all the questions and doing the interview stuff. But for the most part, yeah, it's as long as you don't have any bad criminal history or large financial debts that they believe that you could be possibly a victim of being bribed into giving away some information, then you should be usually fine. What's your opinion on the Army uniforms, the Army greens? I like them. I think they look pretty cool. A lot of people think that they're going to add a lot of extra, you know, work to making you look good to go to work every day, but I think they look pretty cool. Would you do a vid on the tobacco epidemic that's going on? I'm hearing things on them to stop selling tobacco on bases. I've never heard that, and even if they do stop selling tobacco on base, you can go off base to get tobacco, so it's not like it's impossible to get it. Super chat from a name that I have no idea how to pronounce. I have no idea. It looks like you mashed a bunch of keys on the keyboard, unless you're from some other foreign country and that's just how you say your name. I have no idea. So V, I'm gonna call you V. Currently an enthusiast in AIT for 15 Yankee. Power's out. The power's out. How are you watching this? Are you watching this like on your cell phone? What's a 15 Yankee? I don't even know what a 15 Yankee is. You guys always drop these crazy crazy things. Edward, another super chat. Hang on, let me find out what a 15 Yankee is. Electronic avionics systems repair? That sounds interesting. Sounds complicated as hell too. That's got to be hard to do. But the power's out, so thanks for hanging out for Chaos Live, if that's what you're saying. The power is out. That's crazy. Edward, again, thoughts on Chelsea Manning? Alright! She was a whistle for Chelsea Manning? Who is Chelsea Manning? Isn't that that actress chick, or the... Oh, that's Chelsea something else. I don't even know who Chelsea Manning is. If you're trying to, like, if you ask, like, political stuff or anything like that, I usually don't know the answers. Because I don't pay attention to politics. Let me find out who the heck that is. I don't even know who the hell that is. this person is. Chelsea Manning, American activist, whistleblower, politician, former United States Army soldier. Is that one person that went from being a guy to a girl that had a sex change and all that stuff? Or is that someone else I'm thinking of? Maybe, I don't know. I don't have an opinion. I don't pay attention to politics. Politics is not a good question to try to ask me because I'm not going to have an opinion on it because I don't pay attention to politics at all. So, hardest MOS? I'd imagine the 18 series because that's Special Forces. So that would be my guess. Would be Special Forces would probably be pretty difficult. Anything in the 18 series. Do recruiters go by conviction record or arrest records? They can. Yeah. So if you have certain like felonies or even some misdemeanors, can sometimes disqualify you from being able to join. So yeah, some of that stuff can play a role as well. I was gonna scroll up. I know I skipped quite a few questions. I'm trying to backtrack a little bit every now and then. What do you recommend me to do joining after high school or do my 4-year degree? I guess it really just depends on, do you want to be an officer or do you want to be an enlisted soldier? If you want to be an officer, then obviously, you know, go to college. You could probably even do like an ROTC program to come in as an officer. You could still go to college beforehand and look into some of those programs where they pay off your debt, which is available, but make sure that maybe you qualify first or maybe talk to a recruiter. I was watching a video earlier today. I was just kind of curious. It popped up in like a recommended thing where this guy, he was going to do something like that, where he went to school for a particular occupation. He wanted to do it in the military, and he's hoping to be able to join and get all his debt paid off. And then it turned out that he didn't even qualify for the job he wanted to do, so he didn't end up joining because he didn't want to just settle for something else. So you got to be careful of that as well, though. So I guess you have to weigh the options. Do you want to, get that education first, or do you want to, just join the Army first and then, be an enlisted soldier and then later go to use the GI benefits to kind of do it later? Manning was a whistleblower who leaked classified info to the press. Yeah, I think I remember the headlines about it and all that stuff, but like I said, I didn't read all the specifics on it, so I don't really know the whole story about it. I didn't pay attention to it. So I really don't know. So I really don't have a good way to weigh in on that kind of a topic. So I'm sorry. Can't help you there. Again, politics are not the area you want to be asking me about. You can ignore politics, but it doesn't ignore you. Well, yeah, probably. Paul Belt, what's happening? Welcome to Chaos Live. Hopefully you are doing great, my friend. What about 15 series, such as a 15 whiskey? I don't even know what a 15 series is. What is a 15 whiskey? An unmanned aircraft systems? That'd probably be pretty cool. I believe that requires a security clearance because you're flying some drones around and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, is that 15 series like that kind of avionic type of MOSs? I don't know. I don't know anything about it. There's sometimes you can even get like an additional skill identifier and get like UAV qualified. I've known people that have done that where they needed a little UAV operator in their unit, and so they will send someone to the school for, I don't even know, I don't think the school's crazy long because it's just like a basic course on how to do some of the small ones like the Raven, or I don't even think it's big enough as the Shadow. Shadow's a little bit bigger, or the Raven I think is the small one that you throw. I forget. But they go and they have some people usually learn those, and then they get qualified to be able to operate those for their unit. So, I mean, you can also do that kind of thing with other MOSs as well. Hey, I gotta go hit the hay. Have a good night, everyone. Well, thanks, the Traveling Soldier, for dropping in on Chaos Live. Do you know anything about the 74 Delta Seaburn Specialist? I just signed a contract for that MOS. I shipped to Basic in February. I don't. I knew a guy. I work with a guy. I think he was maybe in that MOS, maybe. But I don't really know a whole lot what they do. We had a few. They were probably in that MOS, I think, when I was in Iraq the first time. And there's not a big chemical threat right now with the current war situation. So they were doing a lot of other things where they had these pretty cool like NBC vehicles. They were pretty awesome, but they would use them for doing route recon. And then I think they were also helping out in the little prison that we had for the detainee center to kind of process people that were potentially committing crimes, and they would kind of process them through this detention center to decide if they were innocent and then release them, or if they needed to do further investigation and send them off to one of the facilities or something like that for them to be imprisoned into or whatever. So, but yeah, so right now there's probably not a whole lot they do because there's not a big threat from the enemy currently with you know, contamination of, you know, chemical contamination. Does the Army have a nuclear weapon MOS? I don't think so. I don't even know if, because we don't really do anything with nuclear weapons. I think they might have a stash of them. I don't really know, but there's not an MOS. I don't think that deals with nuclear weapons. I think most countries try to avoid that. Chris, a question. Did you have your photo taken in dress screens while you were at reception, like for the ID card, or for? Well, yeah, we did like the fancy one that's you can't. Oh no, it's not in my dress uniform. Mine's in my BDUs. The desert, or not the desert, but the jungle uniform. Some people will do it in the dress uniform for like a formal picture, and then your ID card is in your ACUs for the new one now for your the battle uniform. But I think they do have you get into your Army service uniform and have a formal picture done. But my little formal kind of picture thing was in the BDUs. So. Why didn't they do basic training at Fort Knox, Kentucky? I don't know. Is that one of the ones they don't? I think that's one of the ones they shut down for basic training. I don't know. Edward, again, with a super chat, $1.99. Opinions on dating a stripper or a fellow soldier? It's a big difference, man. comparing dating a stripper or dating a fellow soldier. So a stripper's bad. You have, I mean, maybe not all, but for the most part, you know, the situations I always dealt with where I had soldiers that said they were dating a stripper, but they never had any dates outside of the strip club. You know, you'd have soldiers like that where, oh yeah, my girlfriend, her name is Destiny, and she works at Deja Vu or wherever, you know, right? And then you talk to that soldier and be like, you know, all right, so where have you guys gone on dates? Oh, we haven't. We just hang out at the strip club, and you know, I pay for dances and buy her drinks and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, that's not a girlfriend, man. There's someone trying to trick you into just blowing a bunch of money on them, but they're not really your girlfriend. So you have to be careful of that. Otherwise, I don't know if I would really like a situation where my girlfriend was a stripper grinding on guys for a living and then coming home to me. I don't know if I'd be a big fan of that. Some people maybe are okay with that. I would not be. As far as a fellow soldier, there's probably no big deal with that. I mean, it'd be a little bit kind of a pain if that fellow soldier is also in your platoon or something like that, because then sometimes there's certain circumstances where you can't do that, because then they consider it like fraternization or having favoritism. You know, you could have, you know, certain situations where they don't like that. But if there's just a fellow soldier that's just in another unit, maybe in another company, it's just no different really as far as dating another person, really. So. What's your opinion on 31 kilo, or what would you suggest as an MOS? I don't even know what a 31 kilo is. Let's find out together. Well, you probably already know. I don't. 31 kilo is an Army military working dog handler. Probably a pretty cool MOS. You do a lot of, that's with usually working with MPs, doing like drug dogs and canines and all that stuff. So I would imagine that'd be pretty cool. I don't know what as far as what MOS to suggest, but I would think that would be pretty cool, especially if like working with animals, working with dogs. I imagine that could be pretty awesome MOS to get into. Can a green card holder go to RASP? Not 100% sure, but I don't think so. I think you have to be a U.S. citizen to go to RASP or even SFAS for Special Forces. I think for any of those more hardcore jobs, you have to be a U.S. citizen, because if you go through it, you're going to have to get a security clearance, I believe. And in order to get a security clearance, you have to be a U.S. citizen. From what I understand. I could be wrong, but I believe that you have to be a U.S. citizen for that kind of thing. So, yeah. Light's gonna blink. Waiting for it. There it is. Edward, get this crazy addiction with super chats in here, man. And blowing all the money. How do I ask out a female airman? I don't know, just like you would ask out any other woman, I guess, really. I mean, I don't think just because she's an airman or even in the military, should be any different. You know, you just gotta make friends with them, get to know the person, because I feel like it's weird when if you just straight up don't know the person and then ask them out. Sometimes that works out probably pretty well for some people, but I always like it of getting a chance to know the person, maybe inviting them to have coffee or You know, nothing crazy like, hey, you want to go to the bar? You know, you don't want to do that. But maybe see if they want to go grab some Starbucks, maybe catch some lunch sometime. You know, because especially like, you know, some females are very protective and they don't want to, you know, just go out with any old person in fear that this person could be a creep. And so you don't want to just rush to something like dinner or anything. Sometimes it makes a woman maybe feel more comfortable if it's coffee or if it's just lunch. And then from there, then you can escalate to going out to dinner or going to a movie or whatever. So that'd be my recommendation, but I'm no Dr. Phil or any great romance expert, but it's my 2 cents on it, I guess. During training in the USA, are you trained for chemical warfare? Uh-oh, got another super chat from Walter. Walter, thank you. You got no question, but I still appreciate the donations. Helps the channel all the time, so thank you, Walter. You're awesome. But back to your question. USA training for chemical warfare. I heard South Korea does this. People are in a room and are exposed to gas. We have like the gas chamber. Everybody always says the gas chamber just to be exposed to CS gas. And so you'll do that, and then you'll do just a lot of other training with NBC gear. So you have the pro mask, the gas mask. It's called the protective mask, and then you have protective gear, and you'll do different training with that. It's not a really big threat with any of the, you know, previous wars really since like probably like the 90s maybe, maybe even before that. But they still do some training on that stuff to keep people prepared. So you will do the gas chamber, which is a CS gas. So might be a stupid question. Never. There's no such things as stupid questions. It might be a stupid question, but why did the... Oops, my chat jumped on me. I need to see the rest of your question. I lost the mouse. But why did the war start? Which one? The last one? The most recent one? The last one was with Iraq. So we were trying to help, you know, we were trying to find out if there was chemical weapons, apparently, in Iraq. And Saddam was not being very cooperative with allowing UN forces and stuff to inspect certain areas. So they decided to escalate things in fear that Saddam was possibly hiding weapons of mass destruction, which I don't think we ever found any weapons of mass destruction, but I believe they did find like chemical barrels from like for like chemical warfare type of things, but I don't think nothing like no nukes or anything. So, but plus a lot of the people were oppressed by Saddam Hussein, so it was also a combined effort to try to free the people of that kind of regime. But there's still a lot of problems going on over there, even after Iraq War stopped and everything. Let's see. What's a cockpit? It's usually the area where a soldier would be sitting inside of to fly a jet or to fly a helicopter. It's the area where they are inside of. Oh, because of this question up here. Bill asking about show me your cockpit. I see what you're trying to do there, Bill. I see what you're trying to do. I don't think so, pal. Any tips for someone looking to become a foreign affairs officer? I don't think I really know anything about it, so I don't know if I could really give you any good tips, because I don't really know anything about foreign affairs really. Sorry, can't help out in that area. Oh, what about taking a female airman to a strip club? I would make sure they're into that first. You know, I would imagine be a very ideal first date of like, hey, I'd like to take you out. You want to go to a strip club? I would get to know a person a little bit better before taking anyone to a strip club, and make sure that that's someone that, you know, that would be interested in that kind of a thing. Otherwise, I would imagine your first date would not go very well at all if you tried to, you know, have that for your first date. So I'd work your way up to possibly taking a woman to a strip club. Going 25 Victor, leave in January for basic. Do you know how Fort Meade is? My basic training is at Fort Jackson. I don't know I have any experience with either of those two locations, for Fort Meade or for Fort Jackson. I've never been to either of those posts, so I'm not too sure. If I could join one military force outside of NATO, what country would it be? Oh, if I could? I don't know. I don't know, because I don't know like what a lot of other militaries are like. Some other militaries are stricter than the U.S. military. Some are more laid back. Some are more organized. Some are less organized. So I mean, I can't base it based on a country that sounds pretty cool, because Australia sounds pretty cool, but I don't know if their military is cool. So and then like Britain seems kind of cool, but I don't know if the British Army would be cool. I don't know. I don't know what I would choose. What's up, Chris? Greetings from Pennsylvania. Well, thank you. Welcome, Shane. Greetings to you too. Here for me in Colorado. My parents think I'm joking whenever I say I want to join the military. Do you have any advice on getting them to take me seriously? Join. You know, if they think you're joking when you're joining the military because they don't think you're serious, then go for it. Just join. Be like, hey, I'm going off to basic on this day. And they have to be okay with it, I guess. You know, I mean, especially like if you're 18, you're an adult. You know, the parents got to understand what you're going to do and accept that, you know, you're going to make adult decisions like joining the military. So I know I see that comment from a lot of people about how to convince the parents to understand that I'm going to, you know, the military or whatever. And I don't know if there is a good answer to, you know, get your parents to understand that you're going to go to the military. They just should, because you know, you're an adult and you should be allowed to make adult decisions. Did my music run out? I just got like just playing a playlist through here. I think that was the last song in that little playlist though. So let's try a different playlist. That seemed to be kind of working out. I'm using Epidemic Sounds. Let's try this Headbangers playlist. And let's see how that works out. So we'll go through this. So there you go. Gotta keep the music alive. What's up, Margaret? Thank you for joining the Chaos Army. If you're here in Chaos Live, welcome. My uncle joined the Army. He hated active duty. He said National Guard was better because active duty has too much control over your life. You're pretty busy with active duty. Active duty, it's your day job. You're doing everything. You know, you have so much, you know, that you're focused on and so much that you're doing. Walter, I'll get to you here in a second. Thanks for the super chat. But with active, yeah, they have a lot more control over, you know, your life, basically. Where National Guard or Reserve, it's only part-time. It's like a part-time job, so it's not quite as crazy as it is with, you know, active duty. So active duty probably does have a little bit more control over your life, probably. So Walter, what's up? Does the word overkill exist in the EOD vocabulary? Probably. Why? What do you think, that EOD people get a little overkill with things? Is that what you're saying here, Walter? Does the word overkill exist? Yeah, I'd imagine. I imagine it exists in everybody's vocabulary, but yeah, I don't know if you're referring to that EOD gets crazy with stuff or what. I don't know a whole lot of EOD people, so I don't know. I don't know. What is your opinion on doing ROTC in college and going in as a second lieutenant? I think it's great if that's what your path wants to be. You want to be a lieutenant, you want to be an officer in the military, then I think ROTC is probably a great option to be able to go through that. You get a college education while at the same time allowing you to come in at a higher rank, to be an officer, more of a leader. You know, it's more of a leadership role in the Army, so I think it's a pretty good kind of thing if that's what you're into, of that kind of thing. So Jay says Meade is okay, great location between Baltimore and DC, easy to get to Philly and New York. So that'd be pretty cool. I would imagine that'd be pretty cool. Like, I've never been to New York City. I would like to visit New York City. Maybe, I know it's touristy, but visit Times Square and the Statue of Liberty and everything like that. But I think it'd be pretty cool to see those kind of things and explore New York City. But I don't know, at some point in time. Active duty, you're soldier 24/7, National Guard, you're a civilian 95% of the time, yeah. For the most part, you know, you get to, you know, when you're not on duty, you know, National Guard, you can grow out your hair a little bit, grow a little bit of facial hair, and when you're active duty, you might have a little bit of time during leave to try to grow something out. I remember, like, I would try to grow out, you know, some facial hair when I would take 2 weeks leave, which wouldn't usually equate to much of facial hair, but I would do my best. Put on Christmas music? Christmas music? I don't know if I'm not a big fan of Christmas music. I like Christmas. Christmas itself is cool, but I like the more of the hard rock and the heavy metal kind of stuff. I don't know about Christmas music. Maybe if we do a Christmas live stream, which Christmas falls on what, a Tuesday? Maybe that'd weekend before, maybe the weekend, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll have a special Christmassy live stream. I won't do a Christmas live stream. I'll be busy with family. But we'll see how things go. Is a State Guard better than National Guard? Isn't it the same? National Guard, usually when you're in the National Guard, you're assigned to the state that you live in. But I don't know if that's the same. I always thought they're the same. I don't know. State Guard isn't military? Yeah, so I don't know. I thought National Guard, you'll get assigned to a state. So if you're joining the National Guard, you'll be with the, say for example, the Colorado National Guard. So you'll be with Colorado. I believe it's how it works. But I don't know anything about State Guard. So, yes, there you go. See, Bill, National Guard is run by the state also, not sure of the difference. Yes, I don't think there is a two different one. I think it's the National Guard, and then based on whatever state you live in, depends on what state you'll be doing your National Guard training in. So you'll be a part of the Colorado National Guard, the Arizona National Guard, or the Texas National Guard, whatever it might be. So, it's not, I don't think it's two separate things. New York City's overrated. Live in BX. Hated it. Is that Bronx? Yeah, maybe as a tourist kind of option, maybe kind of cool. I'd imagine it's really busy. That's like Los Angeles. Los Angeles is crazy busy. I wouldn't want to live in Los Angeles, but I don't mind visiting occasionally to go to Los Angeles to see friends or family or whatever in the Los Angeles area. So, but yeah. I want to go in as a 91 Bravo for the Army, but I don't know much about mechanics. Does that matter? Do I have to know about mechanics before I go? Not really. You'll learn a lot of the stuff in AIT. AIT is going to basically be like a trade school for mechanics, so you'll get to learn a lot of that stuff in AIT. So no, not really. So you don't have to worry about, like, you don't have to already come in knowing how to be a mechanic, because that's what they teach you for. You know, when I joined, I didn't already know how to be a truck driver. That's what AIT is for. So they teach you that kind of thing. What's the main weapons that the Army uses? M4. M4, like some misfit right there. Says right afterwards, the M4 is the primary one. Some people use a 9mm, and they'll be switching the 9mm to another weapon system at some point in time. But M4 is the most common one that most people use. So if you're joining the military, M4 is most likely to use, unless you're MP, tanker, a few other MOSs. Can you bring a safety razor to basic training? I burned through 2 disposables each shave. Yeah, you can pretty much bring whatever kind of razor you want. I think it's, well, I don't think you can do like straight edge razor though. I think you're supposed to use like disposable, or I think you can bring electric shavers too. I'm not sure. I don't remember if your life nowadays allows you to bring electric shavers or not. They might just have to be the disposable, or like even the nicer ones as well. So I'm not 100% sure on that, but you probably could. I think if you look up online the packing list for basic training, they give you like the essentials that normally they do. Hard rock and heavy metal Christmas music. I don't know. I don't think they have a hard rock heavy metal Christmas section. I don't know. Maybe if I did a search for Christmas music with rock in the tags as well, I might be able to find something like that, but I won't search for that right now. So I'm going on for SF. If down the road I get messed up from war and want to stay in, will they discharge me? It depends on how messed up you are. If you're messed up to the point where you can't do your job, then maybe, which is called medical retirement. They'll medically retire you. So you receive a bunch of benefits still. So it's not like getting kicked out of the Army or anything like that. As far as, you know, like because you did something bad, you'll get a lot of benefits, and they'll help you out, and you know, a lot of medical stuff taken care of for you. So it just depends on how bad it is that you messed up, I guess. Where do you go for basic? If you're asking where I went for basic, I went basic at Fort Benning, Georgia. But otherwise, if you're asking in general, where does someone go to basic? There's several different locations. I think there's 4 or 5 different duty stations or different Army bases that have a basic training program to do basic training. So that just depends. But I went to Fort Benning. So Bill says Fort Sill, Leonard Wood, Benning, Jackson. I think is there a couple other ones? I don't remember. I don't know the list. Maybe that might be the list right there. I don't remember. So I mentioned it in my my video because I had it in front of me to be able to reference of which Army locations currently do basic training. But you would have to either go back to that video and look up to see what locations do basic training, or you would have to look it up yourself. I don't know. But those might be it. What Bill says right there might be it. How often do you do PT when enlisted, and what kind of exercises do you do? You do PT every morning, well, Monday through Friday at least. Well, Monday through Wednesday, Thursday is sergeant's time, Friday is PT again. Because most installations will have Thursday as sergeant's time training. You still do some form of PT, but it usually come in the form of doing like road march, or doing combatives, or doing something physical that's kind of educational at the same time for sergeant's time. But you do it all week. You just don't do it on the weekends because you're usually off weekends, unless you fall into certain MOSs like cooks or MPs or certain other MOSs that still work weekends because they have to do shift work. Then you might. But for the most part, pretty much 5 days a week, you're doing some kind of physical fitness. So you do it quite often. As far as what kind of exercises, they mix it up. Usually they'll have one day as a run day, the next day is more of the upper body, lower body exercises, and then the next day is a run day again, and then they mix it up kind of back and forth. So there's a lot of variety of exercises you can possibly be doing, and it also depends on who's in charge of PT that day. They usually rotate different, non-commissioned officers, maybe even some younger enlisted who are trying to become a non-commissioned officer at some point. Then they go and they have to, maybe give PT that day or whatever, and then they get to decide what they're going to do for PT that day. So, can you use your phone in AIT? Sometimes it depends on the length of the AIT. Like nowadays, they're like in basic training, they lock up all your phones and your chargers, and then during certain times they'll bring them out and you're allowed to use them for a limited amount of time to call home or whatever, and then they lock them back up. And then AIT, some of them are probably going to be fairly strict at the beginning, and then some might be pretty lenient, where they might be, allowing you to just keep your cell phones with you, but you have to like leave them in your wall lockers while you're at training. And the only time you can have them on you is when you're not doing training. I know that's how some places are like. They don't want you're not allowed to have them, period, when you're in formation, when you're in training, and they have to basically remain in your wall locker, and you can only use them when you're back at the barracks and you're done with training for the day. So, you feeling any better yet? Somewhat. Not like it kind of comes and goes. Like yesterday morning, I felt a little bit crummy, and then by the afternoon, I was feeling pretty good. But then by the evening, I was feeling kind of stuffy. Today, I felt pretty crummy this morning, but then in the afternoon, I was feeling okay. Now I feel a little bit kind of congested. So it's kind of comes and goes. But there'll still be some normal videos this week. I already have them pre-shot. I just got to put them together. So there'll be a Monday, Tuesday, and Friday video. Maybe a Wednesday video. Wednesday is kind of like my day for like whatever filler videos, if I can get around to them. So we'll see if there ends up being a Wednesday video or not. But there will still be a Monday video, a Tuesday video, and a Thursday video. I just have to edit them together, which isn't too bad. If someone was to bring their own scope attachment for the M4, is that allowed or not? Not for like basic training or AIT. When you get to permanent unit, you could. Usually you get pretty good stuff though. I mean, sometimes when you're a lower enlisted soldier, they only give like the nice weapon system sights to the non-commissioned officers, to the leaders, and some of the lower enlisted guys just get stuck with whatever they have available to them. Sometimes that's the M68, which I hate the M68. The little laser, like little dot on the inside. It's not a laser that projects out, it's just a laser on the inside that you are kind of looking at. And then other people will get the ACOG. Those cool like holographic sights and all that stuff like that usually isn't available in most units. Some units might have that stuff. But then also the thing about that is if you have some kind of cool sight, maybe you have like a holographic sight that you want to throw onto your weapon and they put it in the arms room, there's no guarantee that thing's going to stay on there, right? That's something could happen to that. Something, the weapon could go off to maintenance, because weapons go back and forth between maintenance, sometimes occasionally. And if they get messed up, well then, it's on you. So it's kind of a dangerous thing as well. So Edward, again, with the super chats. Man, can you look up Coast Guard Auxiliary? I don't know anything. You always ask about this auxiliary thing. I don't know anything about the Coast Guard. I don't even know anything about the Coast Guard. Coast Guard isn't even in the Army's realm of stuff. That's kind of a part of the Navy. All right. Coast Guard Auxiliary. I don't know anything about it. So I wouldn't be able to really, I would have to sit here and like read through the website. That'd be a lot. But I wouldn't really do Coast Guard stuff on this channel because I'm Army. So I can stick to Army stuff. But I'd imagine, I think someone was telling me that it's essentially kind of like how the Civil Air Patrol, like a organization you can join before you go off to the military, and that can help you with other stuff. So yeah, I don't really know anything about it. Sounds like it's established back in the 30s. Yeah, this isn't very helpful for you. I don't know anything. It's part of the Navy. I was Army. So my expertise is Army related. So I try to, for the most part, keep everything Army related. If it's not Army related, then I don't know anything about it. Other than if it was on the internet or something else. Otherwise, I really can't help you to tell you anything about the Coast Guard Auxiliary. No more than you could Google. I'm just going to find the same results that if you just did a Google search for United States Coast Guard Auxiliary, which is what I just did, and got a Wikipedia page on it. So I can't really help out too much on that. My buddy just asked me if you need a license for infantry. Does anyone know? Like a driver's license? Now, you'll probably be able to get away with being infantry and not having a driver's license. There's only certain MOSs that probably will want you to have a driver's license, like being 88 Mike, MP, and a few, probably certain other ones. But infantry, you probably get away with being fine without having a driver's license, if that's what you're talking about. How do you pass time at reception? Bring a book. You're not going to really have a lot of freedom or anything to do those kind of things in reception. Reception is going to be a lot of paperwork, medical stuff, getting shots updated, haircuts, uniforms issued, gear issued, few little briefing classes probably here and there, and then you're off to basics. So you don't really have, I don't think, a whole lot of free time that I remember, at least when I went through reception. You're going back and forth between chow and between, you know, doing these classes or getting uniforms or getting shots or something. You didn't really have a lot of time just to hang out, hang out and read a book or anything, I don't think. Jay, thanks for joining the Chaos Army and subscribing to the channel if you're here in the live chat, live stream. As you can see, I still have a cough though. I can't shake this cough. Try not to die on stream. That'd be horrible. Hey, what's up, Old Reliable? How's it going? Do tankers still use the grease gun? Sure. You talking about it's actually like a grease gun to like lube up the joints and stuff, or is that a slang for some kind of weapon? When do the buddy program is your whole Army career together? When you do the buddy program, is your whole Army career together? I don't know if all of it. They will have you go to basic training in AIT because you have to join as the same MOS. So you'll do basic training AIT together, or OSIT, and then I think you get to go to your first duty station together. But past that, I don't know. I think that once, if like one of you were to come up on orders for something else, like to go to Korea or to go to another duty station, I don't think necessarily the rest of you that joined would come up on it, because you can do like, I think, up to 5 people with the buddy program, and so I think your first duty station will be together. But I don't know about from there on. Can I somehow get into the U.S. Army if I'm from Ukraine and 30? Only if you have a green card. You have to have a United States green card. Be a green card holder in the United States or a U.S. citizen. Otherwise, no. So, am I okay? Yeah. I'm hanging in there. I got a little bit of a, I've been having a little bit of a cough. I'm sure talking a lot kind of is just flaring it up to make me cough more. But thank you for your concern, Stella. Yeah, I see someone replying about need at least a green card. For the most part, yeah. You can't join the military, no matter what country you're from, without at least having a green card. And then certain MOSs will require you to be a U.S. citizen. I think usually like MOSs are going to want you to have like a security clearance. Would you recommend going to basic right after high school, like within a few weeks or a month of graduating? Just depends on how quickly you want to kind of transition into that, you know, lifestyle. like me, I went fairly soon. I think it was about 2 months after graduating high school. Graduated in June, and then I was off by August to go to basic training. So it just depends on how fast, you know, you want to jump into that lifestyle. What do you do if you're allergic to penicillin and the peanut butter shot? If you're allergic to it, they won't give it to you. But you have to make sure that that's been established before you go to basic training. Don't just like claim that you're allergic to penicillin and then you show up to basic training and you don't have it documented. Then, you know, that's gonna be probably a problem. I don't know if I think if you tried to tell them you're allergic to penicillin but they don't have anything with it, they're probably gonna run some tests on you to see if you're really allergic to it or not. But yeah, make sure that stuff's documented before you go off to basic training, so that way, you know, they'll know. Usually have a special ID tag usually too, to let them know. And then usually when they're going through doing shots, they'll already know ahead of time. I think I remember they do like a questionnaire before you get the penicillin shot to kind of find out who has allergies or is allergic to those kind of things, and then they kind of weed those people out so they don't get the shot, and they take everybody else to get the shot. So they should take care of you. How do you update your uniform? What do you mean as far as the ribbons and all that kind of stuff? Otherwise you just add it on? I don't know what you're referring to. How do you update your uniform? Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Otherwise you just add the stuff yourself. Let's see. I leave for basic training in Benning for the Army and National Guard in 3 weeks. What are the first days of red phase like? Please answer. Was that the first week? First few days? First days of red phase? So you go through reception, which is getting everything. But then when you first show up to your basic training, after that first week of reception time, then it's when, I don't remember what we did though. If you go to the Army's website, they actually break it down and say what's included in red phase and what's included in, you know, whatever phases and stuff. Like we didn't really use those phases. I know a lot of basic trainings would, but when I was in Benning, they didn't give a crap. They was just like, you're here, and you didn't really tell you what phase you were on or anything. It was just going through the motions and getting everything done. So yeah, I don't remember what I did in that first week because I went to basic training in 1999. So it's been a while. But the Army's website does have like a breakdown of what is involved with basic training nowadays. So if you go to like goarmy.com, they'll have something like that. They'll have a breakdown of what kind of happens during that first red phase, during that first week or whatever. So let's see, how long is actually basic? I heard different, it's 9 weeks, but sometimes 10. Yeah, it's 10 weeks. Is that counting reception though? I don't remember. So it was 8 weeks when I went through, and then it switched to 9 weeks. But I think that with 10 weeks, that includes the first week, which is reception, I think. But I don't remember for sure. Maybe it's 11 weeks altogether. Maybe that's not counting reception. Yeah, so I think that's what it is. So, Chris, question. Are all 3 components, active, reserve, and guard, still mixed in together at basic? Yeah. You'll still do basic with everybody. And then, you know, some people will go off to, you know, when they go off to AIT, you'll still do AIT together as well. And then some people after AIT will go off to their first duty station. Some people just go back home and then, you know, report to their local unit they're going to be assigned to find out the schedule for when they're going to do, you know, their weekend training and all that stuff. So, but yeah, usually you'll do basic training and AIT all together. Hopefully only a week of reception. I've heard some horror stories. Yeah, it just depends. Like, if things are slow, something where, you know, they should have it timed together to where you'll be able to start basic, you know, a week out. But if you, like, couldn't meet the physical requirements, you might get delayed and held back, basically until you can meet the physical requirements to be able to start basic. So that kind of depends, too. It mostly depends on like what happens to you. So, I was talking about when you get a new rank. Oh, okay. So you just basically, so if you're, let's say, a private, right? You say an E2, right? Because you have an actual rank insignia for an E2 pay grade. So if you have that Velcroed, you know, patch on there for the E2 rank. When they are promoting you to an E3, then they have a ceremony. Usually have like a formation with everybody. There'll probably be multiple people getting promoted at the same time, maybe a few of you getting promoted at the same time. And they'll pull off the Velcro, hand it to you, and then put on the new one, maybe punch you in the chest. You know, usually it's a little harder for higher ranking, like when you're just getting promoted to PFC, it might just be a small little tap, where they get a little bit more rougher as you get higher in the ranking. You get to a E5, you know, a sergeant, they might punch you a little harder, just out of fun, not to try to hurt you or anything. It's not that bad, but they'll kind of, you know, do it that way. And then usually the tradition is you're supposed to hand off, say like if you're getting promoted from an E3, a PFC, to a specialist, then they, you know, give you your PFC rank. They promote you to, they put the new Velcro one on your rank or on your uniform, and then you're supposed to hand off that PFC rank to someone who's an E2 who might get promoted at some point in time. So they have some extra ones. It's kind of like a traditional thing that a lot of people use. And then for like your dress uniforms, you have to take those to a sew shop and they have new rank sewn on. So that's basically how it kind of goes. How are you able to get a Ranger contract? Talk to your recruiter. Recruiter should have the availability of, you know, seeing if that's available for you to get with option 40, I think is what it's called. And then you can possibly get that into your contract. If not, then you could always, you know, request to try to go to RASP once you get to your first unit or whatever, and try to go Ranger then. How bad are deployments? They suck. I did 2 of them. I did one for a year for 12 months, and then one for 15 months. The 15 months was the worst. Now they're a little bit more lenient because it's not as crazy as it was back then, where a lot of combat situations going on. So a lot of deployments nowadays are only maybe like 6 months or maybe a year. Usually you're not gonna have ones past a year. We're at what, 58 minutes? So we're getting close to an hour. I usually try to keep these about an hour. So we'll go for a little bit longer, and then we'll have to cut off the live stream here pretty soon, as I only do about an hour, but possibly do a special long one for New Year's Eve. So make sure to, you know, keep an eye out for that. I still got to finish doing the little contest thing for this road to 30,000 subscribers. I was going to have it to where trying to get to 30,000 subscribers before the end of the year. That's not, that's a really hard goal to probably get to. We're only at 27,715 right now. And it could change here in a few seconds or a minute or whatever, but we're a long ways away from 30,000. So I don't see getting to 30,000 before the end of the year. So I'll probably have the contest to where once we do reach 30,000, then, you know, the contest will be over, and then choose a winner from there. So I'll post about it pretty soon. I just got to finish out getting all the details together, how I want to do the contest, and it'll be some information that I'll post on social media, to a link to my website that'll have all the contest rules and all that kind of fun stuff for winning some awesome prizes, hopefully. Edward again with super chat. Lights are gonna blink, but I saw a question I want to get to first, then I'll come back because I saw someone have a question for me. How does someone choose where they go? Like if they are stationed at Fort Carson and they want to go to Fort Campbell, is there a search for available spots? Usually you have to re-enlist for it. Sometimes you can talk to your branch manager and try to get moved to another assignment if that's available. But yeah, it mostly comes down to available slots. So if you're in the MOS of an 11 Bravo, let's say for an example, then there has to be slots for you to go to that job at that location. Like maybe they need to be some units that are short on 11 Bravos for you to be able to hopefully be able to get that. But most of the time it's something you re-enlist for, so your contract is coming to the end and you want to re-enlist to go to Fort Campbell or Fort Carson, wherever, and then you can get that into your re-enlistment kind of contract to be able to go to that duty station. Otherwise you have to contact the branch manager and see if they'll be willing to move you. Edward's got the super chat, $1.99. Thanks, man. Kid Gaming, how long to go from E4 E5? So you're asking Skechers Kid Gaming? So the requirement, I can answer it. I mean, if you wanted to ask me, I can probably answer that for you. If you're talking about Army, anyways. Are you still talking about Coast Guard though? If you're still talking about Coast Guard, I don't know. But for yeah, you have a time in service and a time in grade requirement. I talk about it in my Army rank video. But to even go from E4 to E5 also has more than just time involved with it. So if you go and you want to get promoted, you have to get sent to the board. If you pass the board, then you can get recommended to try to get promoted, but then you have to make points. And then there's a requirement as far as how long you've been a specialist to be able to make it, as well as a requirement of how long you've been in the Army to be able to make it as well. So there's a couple different factors. Sometimes you can get a waiver for one of those, but you can't get a waiver for both of those. So if I don't, like, I think Skechers Kid Gaming says 3 years time of service. So I don't have like the regulation pulled up. If let's say it is 3 years time of service, then you also have a time and grade requirement. But if you've only been in the Army for say 2.5 years, but you meet the time and grade requirement, then you can get promoted. You can request a waiver, and then you have so many waivers they're allowed to give out per month. Then you can possibly go to the board. So it's a complicated process. There's a lot to it. That's probably the more complicated one, because from E1 to E4 is basically automatic. As long as you're not getting in trouble and screwing up, then you're going to get promoted from E1 to E4. But from E4 to E5 requires a lot more work, especially like, you have to go to school and all that kind of stuff called BLC to even make it. We got lost our music. We ended this this playlist. Let's start another playlist here. We'll do Top Tracks Rock. We'll try that one. That works. And we'll probably be in pretty soon before this one runs out anyways, because we're at the hour mark now, so we'll go only for a little bit longer. Jay the Vorn says, if you want 30,000 subscribers, I can create a 30,000 YouTube accounts and subscribe to your channel. It really doesn't help though. I need real people. People are going to watch the videos. Your fake 30,000 accounts aren't going to watch my videos unless you every day go onto each of those accounts to rewatch my videos. But still, it's not the same. But thank you. Hey JT, don't support MOSs. We fed and clothed your... Wait, is JT here? I didn't see JT comment. Are you talking about someone else? Was JT in the chat and I missed it? I don't see JT in here. Lies. Edward, again, with the super chats. Man, how much can I drop to run another 20 minutes? How much can I drop to run another... I don't know, what are you talking about? How much can you drop? Trying to like drop weight to run? I don't know as far as like how much weight you would need to drop to run like 20 minute. Are you talking about like for miles or 2 miles, or I don't know what you're talking about. How much can I drop to run another 20 minutes? Oh, for the live stream? Is that what you're talking about? You don't need to do that. I still have to get stuff done. So I mean, even though I can't just go and just give up a bunch of time for these live streams, because I still have to edit tomorrow's Monday video. So I have to get MOS Monday done, get a little bit of work ahead of time done. That way, if I am still feeling like crap during the week, I don't get behind on anything. So even though it doesn't matter, I still got other work to do after this live stream. I can't stick around forever, man. So yeah, you don't want to miss on an MOS Monday or 2 Minute Tuesday. Got to get those videos edited together for the week. How do you join the drill team? They don't really have a drill team. You have like color guard and what else do they have that are kind of like that? They have some certain other things that are kind of similar to like a drill team type of thing, but it's color guard. It's not in the same kind of aspects as like you would have drill team like in high school or anything like that. And then usually color guard, they're usually looking for, I think you volunteer for it and then try out for it to be on color guard. Sometimes they try to recruit like tall people for it as well. So sometimes that just kind of depends. But I do believe they have a recruitment process to try to go to the color guard. He wants to pay. Yeah, I figured that out for a little bit, Bill. That he was trying to pay to keep the stream going. But I still have other videos to put together, Edward. So I can't just stay here and hang out for the live stream forever. So with that being said, then we have to only answer a few more questions before we can cut this off. But before I get to the last couple of questions, if you guys are interested, let's see here. I have it all queued up over here. If you go to ChristopherChaos.com/store, there are some t-shirts on here. If you're interested in that, it supports the channel as well. And also you get to rock some awesome chaos gear. So if you're interested in that, maybe check out some of these t-shirts. Also, I've got some t-shirts that are kind of more military themed that I'm trying out. So you have some different Army veteran ones, straight out of OSIT, straight out of basic, a few other ones that, different kind of styles. So I might have to add more to these. I have to come up with some other designs, but those are options as well. Help out the channel. If you want to help out as well, you can also join Patreon. It has some extra perks to it. Things like possibly getting some intel on upcoming videos, as well as early access to videos, all sorts of stuff. inside of there. But also, if you want to send me some mail, I do have a P.O. box that you can send mail to. You just go to this P.O. box here. It is also available down in the link, down in the description below. Not a link, but down in the description below of pretty much all my videos. It has that in there. So, yeah. And then we have a super chat from Walter. You're awesome. Walter. Gotta go before I go. Give you a hearty yeehaw. Well, thanks, Walter. Thank you for the super chat. Alright, so a couple more questions. Let's see. What do we have? Can you go to West Point and be part of the Army football team? Yeah, that's basically how you have to play on the Army football team, is West Point. So if you go to West Point and you get to be on the, and you do make it to be on the football team, that is how you play for the Army football team, is the West Point guys. That's the only way. So if that's what you want to do, yeah, you have to get into West Point, which West Point can be very difficult to get into. Couple more. Let's see what else we got. Are Army helmets bulletproof? Not really bulletproof, because you could shoot through a helmet, but it would slow it down. Certain calibers would probably get stopped, but certain other ones, it's really just going to slow it down. So it just kind of improves your chances of, you know, surviving if you got shot in the head. So it's not bulletproof. It's not guaranteed, because there are certain calibers that will still go through that helmet. So, is it weird that it bothers me that on the shirts the stars aren't on the left? And which one? Which one's that? The one of the Chaos shirts on the stars? Or are you talking about the one that's got the flag kind of thing? It's basically just the way it turned. If I did it on the left, I don't know. I don't know. One more question. I went to one more question, and then we gotta end it so that I can get to editing MOS Monday, and I can put together 2 Minute Tuesday. Maybe even get together Thursday's video and get ahead of schedule. That way, for those awesome people that are a part of the Patreon, Thursday's video hopefully will be available early for those individuals to be able to watch it before everybody else gets to. So if you want to watch videos early, make sure you do that. Oh, by the way, if anybody's been watching the stories, what do you guys think of the stories? I'd like to hear about that too. If you guys want to chime in on that before I answer the last question, wherever that's at. If you haven't already liked the stream, we got 28 likes and 37 of you in here now. There's some of you that haven't hit that like button yet. You need to hit that like button. I see people still talking about the bullet resistant of the Kevlar. But while you're talking about that bullet resistant of the Kevlar, hit the like button. We're at 28. 28 out of 37 viewers currently in the stream. I don't know how many we've had at a peak time, but it means some of you aren't hitting the like button, man. What's up with that? I'm looking to wait to see if we've got one more question to kind of end it. I know there's a little bit of a delay. Can you answer mine? Well, instead of asking can you answer mine, you should have asked the question. If you would have asked the question instead of saying can you answer mine. What was the question? Let's see, I'll scroll back up. Nick Shade. Where is a previous question from Nick Shade? Here we go. Alright, so that's going to be the last one then. From Nick Shade. Your previous question said, do you think enlisting 12 Bravo would be good getaway or gateway into SF considering the 18 Charlie MOS? So if that's what you're trying to get into with SF as an 18 Charlie, possibly with your experience already of doing explosives and other engineering type of things, it could help. Now you still have to pass, of course, SFAS, which is a very difficult thing to do. But let's say you came in the Army as a 12 Bravo, then go to SFAS and pass. Then you have to go through the Q course, and while you're in the Q course, based on how you're performing in the Q course, they decide what MOS of the 18 series they want to put you in, of where they think you'll do the best. So that kind of depends for that aspect. We got a super chat. Let me finish this question, and I'll get to that super chat, I guess. And then the good thing, though, about that is that if you fail SFAS for whatever reason, then at least you get to go back to being a engineer, a 12 Bravo. So that probably helps out a little bit. You know, that's kind of nice. So whereas if you join the Army as an 18 option for this series for that, then you might end up becoming an infantryman. So Edward with a super chat. You're crazy, man. Can super chatters be annoying? No, I appreciate it. I don't find it annoying. I mean, I feel a little bit bad because I feel like you're having to blow money on me. But I do appreciate it because it does help the channel out. So I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing, you know, but it's not annoying at all. So I appreciate it very much. So thank you very much. So on that, we'll end on Eduardo's got a question asking about super chatters. They are definitely not annoying, but I don't want you to blow all your money on me. Or Edward, not Eduardo, but Edward. I don't want you blowing all your money on me. So thank you for all your super chats and all your awesomeness, and anybody else that leaves super chats. You're all still super awesome. So Edward putting food on the table. By the way, all the money that like is earned from this channel, from ad revenue, from super chats, from t-shirt sales goes into a separate bank account that's not my primary bank account, and that bank account is only used for things related to this channel as of right now. Hopefully someday it'll be my primary source of income, but my primary source right now is my job as an instructor. Everything I make off of YouTube goes back into the channel and gets used for making upgrades or upgrading equipment or being able to do other certain things. So thank you all very much. So thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for hanging out for another Chaos Live. We'll do another live stream next week. Don't forget Monday, we got MOS Monday, Tuesdays, 2 Minute Tuesday topic, and then we have a Thursday video, and then I'll also have probably maybe a Wednesday video. I don't know. We'll see if I can't crank out a Wednesday video as well. But you guys are awesome. Before you leave the live stream, if you will, that thumbs up button for me. It means a lot. And then if I didn't get to any of your questions, you still have some questions, come back to this video. After YouTube is done processing it and it's active and it's on the channel, leave a comment down in the comment section and I'll try to answer it there if I can as well. So thanks for hanging out. You guys are awesome, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.